Hello, how is everyone today? So today we are going to start Waltz. Oh my god, why did I thought of the worst one? Um, tired. Today we are going to keep playing Cinderella Evermore. We are going for Waltz route. For the last route and the last ending, we are doing Waltz best ending now. So without further ado, let's just switch and go. We already have all these letters here, so probably will also be on this one. Yeah. Oh no, wait, not load, start. It's a new one, I forgot. Okay. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a princess. She was known as the Ice Princess, named for her frigid art and unwielding coldness toward others. The princess shunned all who sought to help her. She was scared to go out into the world, so she locked herself up in her palace. Then, one day, the Ice Princess became the victim of the infamous fairy tale curse and was forced to go from riches to rags. As the princess struggled to come to terms with her new life, she met a very special man. The two endured much strife, helping each other overcome various ordeals. In the end, they emerged victorious. The special man told the princess ice cold heart and dried her dampened spirits. The two vowed to love each other for the rest of time. They lived happily ever after. But what happens after happily ever after? Protect our kingdom. I will always be with you. I'm trying my best, father, but in the last month alone, there have been 4 incidents caused by corrupted witches. 4? And the month isn't even over yet. I groan as I sift through the documents in front of me. After so many hours of looking at them, the words have begun to blur together. It's been 3 hours since I convened in here with Laura and Waltz to discuss magic-related incidents around NGL. We have heard testimonies from various witches, so there can be no mistaking what we have been told. Witches corrupted by the Tenebrarum have been working magical evoke in NGL. As a bearer of Tenebrarum Crystal, it is my duty to make sure they are punished for misusing their magic. And as the Queen of Angel, it is my responsibility to make sure they are punished for their crimes. I told my father I would protect this kingdom, but some days I feel like I am not up to the task. The gloomy thought weighs down my shoulders. It makes me feel small and weak. Then, I feel a familiar warmth while settling his hand over mine. He flashes me a reassuring smile. He does not speak, but I know what he would say if he opened his mouth. The burdens are mine to carry as well. I turn to him and whisper softly beneath my breath, "Thank you." Walt just nods as he turns back to the conversation. As we turn back to the conversation. Even just a cursory interrogation shows that these witches are Ilder's followers. Mother, even after your death, we still feel the effects of your corruption. Right now, the best thing to do is tighten security and add more witches to the kingdom's patrols. I'll do as you command, Lord Waltz. Calmly, Waltz designates duties to the witches we currently have employed at the palace. For the last 2 years, I have been trying to mend the relationship between witches and humans. I expected the number of human hate crimes to have dwindled by now, but this is not the case. Am I not doing enough? I eventually dismissed the witches with a wave of my hand, but Laura and Waltz remain. I let out an exasperated sigh as I set my chin on the table. Tired? I'm fine. Divan has been running herself dry. I bolt upright with a frown. Trouble in paradise? The nightmares are starting to get bad again. You did not have to tell her that, Waltz. The nightmare Waltz is referring to are a side effect of being the Tenebra bearer. When it is overfilled with negativity, those negative emotions plague me in the form of nightmares. The only way to deal with those nightmares is to balance out the curriculum, and that requires finding and dealing with a major source of negativity. Walt shakes his head. You know, I only ever tell on you because I'm worried. The last thing I need is to be lectured by an overbearing witch right now. I'm not going to baby you, Diviana, but you know I'm always here when the going gets tough. I sympathize with you, truly. Being both the bear and the queen is colossal responsibility. It would take its toll on anyone. Still, you need to take better care of yourself, otherwise you're going to worry the rest of us to death. I've already said multiple times, you all are better off not worrying about me. Laura snorts, as if we could ever just ignore you. Parfait left you in my care, Diviana. It's my responsibility to watch over you whether you like it or not. I'm fine, Laura. I just need to rest. Lauren turns to Waltz. You ought to pamper your soon-to-be wife more, Waltz. Waltz laughs softly, sheepishly. I try, but you know how stubborn Diviana can be when she sets her mind on a goal. Then try harder. Waltz salutes. Yes, ma'am. The banter brings the briefest of smiles to my face. Speaking of, any news on the marriage? You've put off the wedding ceremony many times now. You know the reasons why. Laura sighs. I know you're busy, but the least you can do is treat yourself to a wedding. She clicks her tongue. Or are you planning on making Waltz wait forever? Waltz smiles. I'm happy to wait forever if I need to. The ceremony has never mattered. He reaches out to squeeze my hand. The important thing is that we're together. My heart trembles at his soft smile. No, Laura is right. I should not keep putting this off. I want to call you my husband. Walt leans down to plant a kiss on my forehead. How many years did I wait for you to find me again, Diviana? I'm in no hurry to get married. I'm in no hurry to get married. There are other people in this kingdom who need you a lot more. You two really need to learn how to put yourselves first for a change. Laura stands from her chair with a stretch. Anyway, I'm heading out. Until next time, Diana. Waltz. Laura raises her hand in a casual wave as she exits the throne room. The room is briefly silent after she leaves. Then, Waltz looks at me, eyebrows raised. Hey you. Hey yourself. Waltz brings my hands to his lips and lightly presses a kiss on my knuckles. Laura's right, you know. You really need to take better care of yourself. I do take care of myself. You do the bare minimum. You barely let me spoil you anymore. You spoil me all the time. Not nearly as much as I like. Walt glances furtively through the doors, then smiles a mischievous smile that makes my heart flutter. Oops. Oh no. Come here. He pulls me out of my chair and into his lap, where he wraps me in a warm embrace. He leans forward, whispering in my ear, I really wish you'd rely on me more. I settle myself against his chest with a sigh. The sound of his heartbeat is calming. I've been relying on you too much already. I have been working hard to carry on my father's mission of peace, but it has been exceptionally difficult balancing my responsibilities as both a Tenebrae bearer and Queen of Angel. I do not know what I would do without Waltz, who has been by my side this whole time, helping me resolve Tenebrae-related issues. In addition, he has also been making time to better understand the kingdom policies, so that he can someday step in to rule beside me. Waltz, the King of Angel. The thought of just ruling side by side warms my heart. Still, Waltz talks about me overworking myself when he is definitely working just as hard. I have just begun to relax when I stop, realizing suddenly that I have a meeting with the royal advisors. Today's meeting is about the importing of minerals and coals from the kingdom of Sedal. I slide off Waltz's lap with a sigh. The advisors will be here soon. Already? Settle my hands on my hips. Don't you have your magic lessons now as well? On top of his other responsibilities, Waltz also teaches young witches at the tavern once a week. You're right. You see, I'm not the only one who is busy all the time. Great minds stress alike, I guess. He shakes his head. I feel like I barely get to have it to myself these days. Can't help it. The past few months have been very busy. Waltz rises to his feet. How long will this meeting run? I can't wait for you tonight. Maybe we can relax with some tea? I hesitate. The last time I told Waltz to wait for me, I worked until morning and he was sleepless. Since we now share the same bedroom, he often loses sleep because of me, but I miss spending time with him alone. Perhaps I can wrap things up earlier today? Wait for me. As long as you don't mind. Waltz cuffs my cheek. Briefly, he presses his forehead to mine. Never mind. I take too long. Waltz presses a finger to my lips. No disclaimers, I will wait for you. Thank you, Waltz. I plant a quick kiss on his lips. I'll see you later, Waltz. See you later, little star. Waltz flashes one last smile before leaving the throne room. Hours later, I find myself trailing the advisors as we walk through the town to visit the stalls of traveling merchants. And here, I thought we'd just be having a quick conversation in the throne room. I'm sorry, Waltz. It looks as if I'll be staying up late today. Any type of call? Yes, Your Majesty. Apparently, the neighboring kingdom of Cinderella recently discovered a new type of magic-infused coal that gives off an impressive amount of energy, also safe for the environment. Truth be told, we have had less interactions with Citadel than we ever did with Brigantia. Their kingdom is more difficult to reach, so our Martians, a nobility, have not done much business with them. But it would be foolish to turn away from this opportunity to expand our trading with Citadel now. They call it the Racist Coal. I believe it would be beneficial to import it to Angel. Downside, naturally, is that the recently discovered coal is extremely expensive. Still, I think the benefits outweigh the cons. They say the coal can burn all night. Our own coal only lasts several hours. The Racist coal may be expensive, but will cut down on the consumption, may even halve it. So in the end, we will be spending around the same amount for a more efficient energy source. Precisely. I think it would behoove Her Majesty to see the impact of this coal with her own eyes. But of course, I have already ordered a few samples. May I ask permission to speak, Your Majesty? I'm surprised when one of the knights guarding the room raises his voice in question. Permission granted. I was in town yesterday and chanced upon a merchant from Citadel showcasing samples of the coal. What a marvelous coincidence! A convenient coincidence. Then let us go take a look at the samples. Are you sure, Your Majesty? It's getting dark. Then we must haste before they close our shop for the day. The advisors look bewildered. But Your Majesty, would be no problem at all to have the samples delivered. A delivery would be much simpler than an excursion into town, surely. I know they must be thinking there is no reason for us to go out of our way for this simple errand. No doubt they are used to servants retrieving things for them. It's fine, I'd like the fresh air. The advisors look disgruntled, but neither of them complains. They are here to make an argument, after all. For them to dismiss my preference would hardly be in their favor. Besides, the last thing I need is for this discussion to carry on into tomorrow. It is about timeless, of course, but even more than that, I really needed some fresh air. It has been a long time since I stepped foot outside the palace. We find the merchant selling the coal quickly enough. When he hears of our visit, he clears his stall early and leads us to his inn room instead, where he can better demonstrate the burning effects of the coal. I'm amazed by the lack of ashes at the end of the demonstration. In the end, I decide to take a chance on the coal, starting first with a small order. Perhaps it will help us save some gold in the future. As soon as you sign the documents, please pass them on to me for processing, Your Majesty. I shall. The advisors bow and take their leave. I wonder how quickly I can sign off this. Shall we go, Your Majesty? I allow the knight to lead me back on my carriage. Wait. I turn on my heels and I am shocked to see Waltz approaching. He stops in front of us. Sir Waltz? You may leave. I will escort the queen to the palace. The knight looked at me uncertain. I shake off my surprise and nod. Yes, you ordered me earlier. As you wish, Your Majesty. The knight departs with the carriage. When we are all alone, I turn to Waltz. What are you doing here? Well, you told me to wait for you, but when I overheard you were coming to town, I figured I might as well come pick you up myself. It allows us to spend more time together. Oh. Waltz, you didn't have to come all this way. I wanted to. He eyes the papers in my hand. I also came to tell you, your work for the day is done. But no, but please allow me to be selfish just this once. You? Selfish? Never. I'm glad you think so. That means you won't complain about going somewhere with me right now, right? Oh, and where would this be? Guess you'll just have to follow me and see. Walt thinks and as he takes my hand and leads me away. I'm surprised when Walt leads me through the forest and to a thicket closest to the Martian. I recognize the place immediately. This is where we used to practice magic together. You remembered, and do you remember this? Walt snaps his fingers. Golden orbs of life spring to life in the darkness, fluttering like fireflies. Memory resurfaces, warming my cheeks. This is where we first kissed. Walt laughs. I can't put into words how happy I was at that. I'd be holding onto the hope that we would be able to pave a future together. And that was the first time I knew for certain you felt the same way. That kiss, it meant the world to me. Steps closer. You mean the world to me, little star. He leans down to kiss me, a soft, gentle kiss that makes electricity shoot through my veins. Afterward, he pushes a strand of hair away from my face and plants another kiss on my forehead. This is better than sharing tea and biscuits, I think. I wrap my arms around his waist and lean my head into his chest. Walt hugs me back, setting his chin on my head. I agree. Out here, I can forget that I am queen. Out here, alone with Walt, I can forget that I am the Tenebra bearer. The two of us can be as we were before, just two people in love. I breathe in his scent, smell of pine and leaves, and sighed. For just a little longer, I want to stay like this. When I woke up next morning, Walt has already left, probably for some important errand. I do not have any meetings for the day, so I decide to remain in my room and focus on paperwork. Sitting here at my desk, I cannot help but remember all those nights Father disappeared, leaving us all alone. He was always talking about being busy, busy. Now I know why. I did not anticipate there would be so much to take care of. My frustration dims to a muddy grief. If Father was still alive, he would be helping me do all this. I weep at my eyes, which are suddenly glassy with tears. Even though I lost Father years ago, the weight of his death still makes me feel prideless some days. Still remember that day, the day my father apologizes to me for being so distant, and the day I lost him forever. I miss him. A knock on my door jolts me from my thoughts. I quickly wipe the tears away. Who is it?
It's me. May I come in?
You may. The door opens, revealing Emmeline, smiling brightly. She holds a tray with biscuits and teacups on it. What is this?
We've been locked up in your room all day, so I figured maybe you'd like a tea break?
Emmeline sets the tray down on my table. The sweet smell of fresh pastries makes my mouth water.
I haven't brought the custard, Danish. You like those, right?
Emmeline pours us some tea and hands me a cup. Thank you, Emmeline. This is very kind of you. I immediately reach for the custard Danish. As expected, it is delicious. Who baked this? It's heavenly.
Mother! She wanted to treat you to something nice.
I blink at her. Philly?
Mother's been wanting to bake something for a while. She knows you've been busy and thought some baked goods might lift your spirits some.
Please thank her for me, if I do not get the opportunity soon.
Of course. While we're talking about your workload,
Emmeline props her elbows on the table and looks at me worriedly.
how have you been? It's been so long since you spent time with any of us.
I shrug. There are always many things to be done.
Maybe, but even the king took breaks. You're going to burn yourself out if you work non-stop.
Father entrusted his kingdom to me, to put myself before it, and my people would be selfish. Emmeline reaches for my hand.
You're not alone in this, Viviana. We're all here for you.
Perhaps, but this is my responsibility. I cannot just heave my burdens onto others. They are all already doing so much to help me.
You should take some time off. Maybe go on a date with Waltz?
Emmeline laughs when I flush.
What? It's been a while since you two went out, right? And he clearly has been missing you. It'd be good for you to go out to town.
Oh my god. Maybe? Emmeline smiles.
You have no meetings, right? Then you should take today off.
I lean back in my chair with a sigh. Fine, if you insist. We chat a little more over tea before parting ways. Emmeline to the kitchens and I to search for Waltz. I spent 30 minutes searching, but Waltz is nowhere to be found. None of the servants have seen him either. He must have gone to town then. Good morning, Your Majesty. I reveal at the sound of the voice. It is Fritz, approaching with his usual smile. Fritz. When I broke all the fairy tale curses, I relieved Fritz of his duties as my personal knight. I no longer needed one with Waltz by my side. Many were wary of Fritz, even after I broke his curse. They had reason for it, as Fritz worked with both Mother and Mistress while he was cursed. But he did those things as Varg, an alter ego he could not control. I know this, and I pardon him for his crimes long ago. It's nice to see you out and about rather than locked away in some stuffy room. Fritz angles his head. You look like you're on the hunt for someone. May I ask whom? I'm looking for Waltz. Lord Waltz? I overheard he was doing a show in town today. Ah, then today is a show day. Thank you. Are you going out? Should I arrange an escort for you? There's no need. I'd like to think no one would be foolish enough to try and attack the Tenebran Baron. I'm still a queen, of course, and more often than not, I will allow an escort for royal business, but it is nice that I do not have to worry about such things for casual outings. With chuckles. Oh, still, keep on your toes, Your Majesty. Of course. Sure enough, I find Waltz in the plaza, crouched behind the makeshift booth and telling a story with his puppets. Oops. His puppets. He does not even look in my direction when I arrive. He seems preoccupied. Okay. No, this was the wrong one. There is no point sitting here and doing nothing. May as well walk around town. I glanced one more time at the group of smiling, laughing children. Also, always manage to put such a smile on their faces. I wonder if there is anything I can do to make the day even better for them. And I am thoughtful as I begin my stroll. I am greeted by townspeople as I walk through the town plaza, sampling various foods. It has been a long time since I treated myself like this. Waltz and I used to visit these stalls frequently, and he would buy me his favorite treats. The candied apple. The candied applies. So I'm right. Okay. The candied apples have always been my favorite though. Yeah, there is a I there that shouldn't be. I must have been unconsciously thinking about them because I soon find myself in front of the candied apple stall I first visited with Waltz years ago. Your Majesty, the merchant behind the stall bows. What a pleasure it is to see you again. Likewise, it has been a while. I survey the apples on display. Some are covered in chocolate, others in caramel. Still, others sparkle with crystallized sugar. And there are a couple with candied flakes on them. These all look delicious. And I strike your fancy? Can cut some sample slices for you. How am I to choose? It occurs to me I could get 2 apples. I could treat Waltz to dessert like he so often does with me. Or I reach into my coin purse and for several silver pieces, which I slide onto the table. The merchant stares wide-eyed. Your Highness, I can take all this. This is ample compensation for all your apples, I'd say. All of them? I'd like to treat some people. Waltz is wrapping up with his story when I return to the plaza. And they live all happily ever after. I approach the booth from behind. The children who notice me hide giggles behind their hands. Waltz looks quizzically until I poke him in the shoulder. He jumps. The children laugh as he reels to face me, eyes wide as saucers. Diviana? Hello, Mr. Magician. The Queen's here! She must have used her magic to sneak up on Waltz. I wish I still had the wild imagination of a child. That's right, you ought to pay more attention to your surroundings, Mr. Magician. Forgive me, my queen, I didn't realize you were leaving the palace today. Emmeline convinced me to take a break, and I thought I'd walk around while you were doing your show. For the first time, Walt seems to notice the tiered trays I'm carrying. His lips pull into a wide grin. What's that? A treat from such children, I hear, have been really good. I turn to the children who have crowded near and are pointing excitedly at the candied apples in the trays. So, have you all been good? Yes! The children yell excitedly in unison. Then I'm here to leave a special treat. Carefully, I begin to set the stacked trays on Walt's booth. He hands out the candied apples, one for each child. Then take the last 2 up for us. A traditional candied apple for Waltz and the chocolate caramel covered apple for me. Well, this is a very pleasant surprise. I wanted to do something nice for the children. It was a wonderful idea. They loved it. I love it. He leans forward to kiss my forehead. That's my little star, always so thoughtful. Not as thoughtful as you. I respectfully disagree. His eyes light up when he takes a bite of the apple. These are always sweetest ones shared with you. I'll never think you have one without you. I'll never think to have one without you. I rise to my feet and hold out my hand. Shall we head back? Waltz grabs my hand. We shall. The two of us have just begun our walk back to the palace when someone called my name. Diviana, Queen Diviana. Waltz and I turned in unison to see Anise rushing toward us, Chevalier on her heels. Anise, Chevalier.
It's so good to see you both.
Chevalier looks at me grimly. It's been 84 years. He laughs when I nudge him in the shoulder. You are as melodramatic as always. Perhaps, but it is no exaggeration to say it has been far too long since we last saw you. We've been very busy. Too busy, we barely have any time for each other, even. But we try our best. Ah, such is life. How have you both been?
It's been busy as usual at the clinic.
Anise is an excellent assistant. The patients adore her.
Everything I've learned from you, Chevalier. You're a great teacher.
Chevalier puts a hand to his heart. Anise, my heart is sure to implode if you keep heaping such praises upon me. Anise just laughs at that. She is probably more accustomed to Chevalier's dramatics than all of us by now.
It is just the truth.
Chevalier and Anise have been working together ever since Chevalier remembered he was a doctor 2 years ago. Anise had always been interested in following in her late father's footsteps. I'm glad she has opportunity to learn more about medicine under Chevalier. You know what else it is undeniable truth? He smiles at me. That we owe you a lot for our good business to you, Diviana. All I did was recommend your clinic to a few nobles.
It started that way, but now we see so many clients from all over the kingdom. We are truly grateful to you, Your Majesty.
You know, it is my pleasure. I actually critically. You are accepting their coin, yes? Anise told me before that Chevalier has a bad habit of refusing compensation for his work.
Don't worry, and make sure he takes the payment, all of it.
And the clients themselves are quite pushy. As it should be, you are providing a service and should be paid for it. Sage wisdom from Waltz the Big. To this day, I'm still completely confused by that nickname.
Chevalier,
Oh yes. Chevalier smiles brightly. It's been a pleasure catching up, but we should get going. We were on our way to pick some much needed supplies. Minutes. Many message. So many server message. I will check it in another time. It is definitely more important than conversing with us. Conversing with the Queen of Anchiel? Never.
hopefully we can all speak again soon.
A Martian reunion would be great. Waltz's forlorn look in his eyes when he suggested. The Martian was a sanctuary for him, much longer than it was for me. I know he misses it often. Sometime soon, it's a promise. We exchanged farewells before parting ways. By the time we arrive at the palace, my body is racked with exhaustion. It seems all the days of sleepiness have finally caught up to me. I manage a quick bath before collapsing onto my bed. The soft mattress makes me sigh with relief. Only I could spend the next few days sleeping. Diviana, Waltz, who is in the middle of dressing, comes to sit on the bed beside me. His shirt lays forgotten on the nearby chair. Are you alright? I am. He looks exhausted. Would taking some of that potion help you sleep better? Laura has already given me many different kinds of sleeping potions, but they may help me fall asleep faster, but they make the nightmares more intense. The mattress creaks as Walt lays down beside me. He wraps his arms around me from behind before I can turn. The minute he wraps his arms around me, I relax. He has just taken a bath and smells like mint soap. It is a soothing, refreshing scent. Is there anything I can do to help you relax? Tell me a story. Waltz always tells the best stories. Let's see. Gently, he drums his fingers against my whips. Once upon a time, there was a witch who fell in love with a princess. The cricket there. Oh, that's... okay. This princess was the kindest and most beautiful woman he had ever met, and he knew immediately that she had stolen his heart. But the witch did not want to ask for her heart unless she gave it to him, willingly, unless she reciprocated his feelings. So he watched over her from afar, and wished for her happiness with all his heart. But then, the princess did fall in love with him. Walt presses a kiss on the top of my head. He speaks softly into my hair. Yes, and the witch knew he was the luckiest man in all the realm. Did they live happily ever after? I can see Walt smile. I don't know. That future is still being written. A soft silence settles over the room. I hate cliffhangers. Oh. Walt shifts slightly, propping himself up on one elbow, so he can look down at me. I guess you'll have to make time for me every night so you can hear the rest of the story. Neglecting all my queenly duties for a story? That would be awfully irresponsible of me. I'll reach up to cup his cheek, but neglecting them for you? That is dangerously tempting. I shudder when Waltz turns my hand and presses a gentle kiss to my wrists. I am the luckiest woman in the world to have someone as good as you by my side. Strangely, Waltz falters. His eyes flash with uncertainty. I try my best. His voice is uncharacteristically quiet. It is such an abrupt change that I cannot help but be worried. Waltz, something on your mind? It's just thinking about the past. He settles back on the pillows and closes his eyes. I remember when we were children? You were my guiding light back when still are. And you were mine, Waltz. You still are. Again, there is that awkward silence, but then Waltz smiles. I'm glad the feeling is mutual, Diana. His eyes are still closed, and I know Waltz well enough to know that means he is ready to sleep. 1 moment ago, he was asking me how we could help, and now he seems ready to shut out the world. I hope whatever is bothering him disappears in the morning. Good night, Waltz. Waltz gripes me a little tighter. Good night, little star. Chapter 2, let's go. No matter what you do, you'll never be good enough. Who's there? I call out, but there is only darkness around me. Your efforts will be for nothing. Witches and humans could never live in peace. The taunts are jeering grow louder, so loud I can hear them even when I press my hands to my ears. But I'm trying. There is laughter, cold and mocking. You are a failure as a queen. Please. You are too weak to be the Tenebran bearer. Diana? I'm sorry. Diana? My vision is blurry with tears. When I blink my eyes open, eventually, the smudges resolve into a familiar face. Waltz. He leans over me, eyebrows furrowed with worry. Are you okay? I rub at my eyes with the back of my hand. It was a nightmare, and there were all these voices. They weren't real, Diana. Waltz wraps an arm around me and pulls me closer to him. But what if they are? What if those voices are the negative thoughts in the Tenebrarum? Diana, what if they're right, Waltz? A painful sob escapes my lips as I press my face into his chest. Waltz rubs soothing circles into my back. They're not. You know they're not. All you have to do is look at the smiling faces around town. But there is still so much strife and Walt kisses me softly on the head. You can't solve every problem, Viviana. Not immediately. No ruler is perfect. King Gennaro wasn't either. Father, he'd be proud of you. Calm silence follows. I breathe slowly in and out until I feel more relaxed and the dream has begun to dissipate. That is what it is, a nightmare. Terrible nightmare, but a dream all the same. How about a trick, little star? A trick? Walt pulls away from me and curled. Abracadabra. A lily sprouts to life between his fingers. The sight brings a smile to my face. He showed me this trick before, when I was a child. I poke him in the shoulder. You promised you'd show me how to do it on my 18th birthday, but you never did. It's not as if I can't still teach you, you know? Besides, I was teaching you more important things then. You taught me about shields every single day. Walt laughs. And now you make the best shields. And you have impeccable control over your electricity. Except for those moments where you accidentally shock me. I rub my fingers together waiting until they spark with electricity before I shock Walt in the shoulder. He shrinks away with a laugh. You mean like that? Just like that. Anyway, he leans forward. You're going to take it easy today, understood? I just took a day off last week. And now you can take another. You're forgetting you have advisors and counselors who can fill in for you. You should put them to work. Waltz. I won't take no for an answer. Do you have plans for us? I have things I need to do, but I want you to take time off today. That's not fair. It's more than fair. I'm just looking out for you. I grumble beneath my breath. Fine. No doubt I will be panicking all day about the work I will need to do tomorrow. Taking a break is going to be more stressful than doing work. Not if you let yourself relax. Breaks aren't just nice, they're necessary. We do our best work when we're refreshed. Why is it that I must take a break when you want? You're making this into a competition when it is not supposed to be. He leans forward to kiss me the tip of my nose. Do this for me, little star. He looks at me, eyes wide and pleading. The expression is so endearing, I cannot help but laugh. I already said I would. Good. I think this will really good. I think this will really help with the nightmares too. So? I think a bath may help you relax. We have some time before breakfast. Why are you looking at me like that? Have you already taken your bath? Walt's lips curve into a lopsided smile. I have, but I wouldn't mind jumping in again with you. My face is so warm it feels like it is on fire. I grab the pillow off the bed and throw it at Walt, who laughs when I roughly rise. Are you still embarrassed about the last time? It raises an eyebrow. I thought it was pretty funny. Stop talking. Was it the gossiping servants that made it strange? I still remember the looks we got last time, coming from the bath chamber at the same time. We did not have the time to freshen up afterwards, so it was clear we had both taken a bath. Together. We are getting a lot of tea here. No one said anything to me, of course, or acted like it was strange, but I cannot stop thinking about the way they looked at us, like they were trying not to smile. It was worth it, in my opinion. I slide out of bed and make my way through the door. What calls out to me? Viviana, would you like to visit the graves later? We can start by going to the royal catacombs and visiting your father. Pause. Hi Crow, how are you? Thank you for the head pets. Are you feeling better from yesterday? I pause. In all my business, I have missed visiting the catacombs and the graveyard, missed visiting everyone. I like that. Then I'll see you later. I nod. Yes, I shall see you later. Later, during breakfast, Emmeline talks excitedly about her upcoming visit to Brigantia. It has been over a year since Brigantia and Angel entered the full alliance. Claude and I were the representatives for our kingdoms. It was only suitable as Claude is Brigantia's heir. What? How? Why? Oh my god. I'm doing okay. Oh my god. That sounds so suffering. Ever since then, our families have become closer. Emmeline especially has become well acquainted with Claude's younger brother, Lance. She visits him in Brigantia every couple months.
Lance tells me he's already prepared a tour of all the kingdom's best restaurants. It's going to be wonderful.
I think everything is wonderful so long as you're with Lance. I hide my smile behind my hand when Emmeline blushes. It is clear Emmeline really enjoys Lance's company, so much so that they exchange letters and visit each other often. It always makes me smile to see her besotted with someone, especially after work.
Of course I do. Lance is Lance.
What in the world does that mean? You're blushing, dear.
Mother, please.
Ophelia chuckles. Sorry, you just become so animated when you speak about him. Rod nods, even more than usual. Emmeline puts her face into her hands and mumbles something. I shake my head. I like Lance. Claude laughs. He's very different from Claude, that's for sure. I have so many questions right now to you. How? Why? What the heck were you even doing? I'm so concerned right now. I resist the urge to roll my eyes, while Claude is flamboyant and overdramatic. Lance is subdued and humble. The two of them are like two very different sides of the same coin. You can have a conversation with Prince Lance that isn't entirely about him. If Claude were here, he'd clutch his chest and whisper, "You warned me," and we'd laugh. Not at him, but with him. I really miss them, everyone at the tavern. I always took that time for granted, but now I rarely see everyone together. At least I have everyone here. I'm looking at your message and thinking how bad you need to feel to hurt yourself like that. I'm really concerned. Like, I know what is that about late reaction because there was one time in uni that I hurt my ankle, the same ankle, more than 6 times on that day. And like when I was walking, I was like, okay, this is hurting. But after a time, it stopped hurting. And when I arrived home, I was so tired, I forgot. I only remembered that I had hurt myself. This was on a Monday. I only remembered that I had hurt myself on Wednesday when I was having dinner, and out of nowhere, my ankle just started hurting so bad. But so bad. So I understand the late reaction. My thing is just how bad it has to be for it to happen. How tired you also may be in terms of like your body being exhausted. And how the heck did you do that? Because 78% is a really big amount. I look up to see Ophelia trying to mediate while Emmeline and Rod bicker. Before, these conversations would have annoyed me. Now I am a part of them. It is nice to see like I belong. It's nice to feel like I belong. My whole life, that is all I have ever wanted, to belong. That feels like that thing they say that if you fell 3 times on your back, you'll break your back. I'm so concerned, especially because it's on your back, so it's really a bad place. Please go see a doctor. Please go check it. Oh my god, please. That shouldn't be a glory. That shouldn't be a glory. You are breaking yourself. That shouldn't be a glory. My whole life, that is all I ever wanted, to belong. The rest of our breakfast is pleasant, filled with its animated chatter. When it is over, we all have our separate ways. I promised Waltz that I would take a break, so I do. I knew the moment I left the dining hall what I would do to relax. I smiled to myself as I looped my needle through a fine piece of fabric, again and again. I have spent the morning sewing puppets. My hope is that Walt will be able to use this for his shows, and that maybe, when I am less busy, I'll be able to join him. I got a message. I don't like message. Okay, one is from a server. I can remove it. I thought of giant puppet show lifts my heart. The thought of a giant... Joint? Yeah. It has been a long time since I helped Walt as his assistant. I hope we can do something again. Yeah, I can say that. I can say that. You definitely aren't related with Newton. I glance up when the clock sounds. Right, I told Walt I would meet him by the royal catacombs. I raise from my chair and begin to make my preparations to leave. I have just stepped into the corridor when I see a familiar face. Good afternoon, Your Majesty. Oh god. He's still going for fights, huh? I hope you survive. I hope you survive. Shuni proceeds and bows low before me. Good afternoon, Jirin. Garland isn't with you? He's busy training the new recruits. Without you, the commander? Garland can handle himself just fine. Besides, the recruits are a lot less nervous when it's just him. Of that, I have no doubt. I hear that Jirin is the one who pushes them and Garland is the one who forces them to take breaks. He and Jirin balance each other out that way. After I was crowned the Queen of Angel, I appointed Jirin the new commander of the Order of Caldera. She immediately chose Garland as her second in command, which was not at all surprising. Oh my god. You know when they say that thing like learn how to choose your fights? That applies to you. That applies to you. I was always able to tell that the two of them were close. Now I see that even more. I cast a look over my shoulder before leaning forward and whispering. So, has Karen proposed yet? Karen stares at me horrified. Wait, how did you know about? She coughs. Your Majesty? Well, told me. He said he and Garland were talking about it one night in town. Insights. Damn it, Lan. She raises an eyebrow. You're lucky he did propose, otherwise he would have ruined the surprise. Well, Garland did bring this up months ago, so... Wait. I blink at her. So it's already happened, and you said yes? Okay. Okay. As it... If you say so... If you say so... Of course. Were you expecting me not to? Karen's my partner in everything. Her cheeks are flushed when she makes the proclamation, which makes it all more endearing. Congratulations, Jordan. I'm happy for both of you. Thank you kindly, Your Majesty. He smiles. You are fighting a force of nature. How do you want me to stay by your side, Crow? You are fighting a force of nature. Do you really think? I... I'm going to be just... You think I'm going to be your moral support like other people? Like, probably Cronus. Cronus will be like, yes, brother, you go! I'm going to stare at you like... I'm going to get the first head, kid. I may have blind faith, sometimes, but not on this. Cronus will have that blind faith for me. I'll just go and get the first head, kid. I fully expect your wedding will happen before ours. The question stumps me. I always forget about the indefinitely postponed marriage ceremony until someone brings it up. Shirin shakes her head. I'm just teasing. There's never any rush for such things. I appreciate you saying that. I pause, thoughtful. Before you head out, I have a question for you about Fritz. If this is about his impediment promotion, then yes, I think he's proven himself more than worth it. The words is a weight I didn't know I was carrying on my shoulders. Fritz has been working so tirelessly to make amends for the mistakes he was forced to make in the past. I promised a promotion to Julian months ago. When I saw all of his artwork, Fritz has no idea. We'll plan on surprising him with an announcement sometime in the near future. I am so glad to hear it. Thank you for your hard work, Julian. Of course, my queen. I must take my leave now. Waltz is waiting for me. Give him my greetings, Your Majesty. Julian bows and walks away. When I arrive at the royal catacombs, Waltz is waiting for me with a bouquet of lilies. Did work keep you longer? No, I ran into Janine. She said to offer you her greetings. I wish I'd called her before I left today. I miss talking with her and Garland. They're always so busy now. Aren't we all? Waltz shakes his head, a sad smile on his face. Standing here with him, I suddenly remember something he once said to me. You told me once that as we grow older, we forget how to be happy. You still think that's the truth, Waltz? Ah, you remember that. I also said once that adults aren't children, that they worry you too much and don't appreciate the small joys in life. I'll be honest, when I see you overworking yourself, I do think about that sometimes. Waltz, that's why you're the way you are, isn't it? You have the child heart. You do find joy in little things. Waltz's expression shudders so fast it alarms me. I apologize. I didn't mean to compare it to a child's. I know that comparison used to really bother him. Waltz's shoulders sag. No, it isn't that, Viviana. It's more the innocent part. I'm not innocent at all, you know? The two of us could argue about this for days. Whatever my mother made Waltz do in the past, it was not his fault. It was a child that had no real power then. I respectfully disagree. And grasp his free hand. I'll never change my opinion of you, Waltz. Let us go visit Father. As you wish. The catacombs are a short walk from where we're standing. Father's body isn't interred here, in an elaborate coffin that sits beneath the statue. Waltz gives me some space to speak to him alone. Hello, Father. It's been a while. I set a couple of lilies down off his coffin. I still hear your voice. It encourages me, even after all these years. Confess, I feel small sometimes. I feel ill-prepared to carry on your legacy. But I'm trying my best. I will always try my best. I set my hand down on the coffin. A biter, jarring cold stings into my fingers. I miss you so much, Father. I hope, wherever you are, that you are watching over me. Smile at the coffin one last time before returning to Waltz. He still has some flowers offerings we mean to set on Mother and Parfait's gravestones in the forest. Shall we? I settle my hand in the crook of Waltz's arms. We shall. We make our way to the forest. The smell of flowers permeates the air as we draw closer to the small gravesite. It is not long before I see the fields of flowers that mark the site. It is... oh my god. It is a serenade place, filled with a plethora of vibrant flowers and glittered with rays of sunlight. It is a perfect resting place. We make our way over to the two gravestones, erected in the center of the field, the previous Lucy's and Tenor bearers resting side by side. Walt sets Lily down on the first grave, for Lily Parfait. I set the other Lily down on the second grave, and one for Mother. They were enemies in the end, but I really hope the two of them are at peace wherever they are now. Waltz sets a hand on my shoulder. If Lady Parfait was here, she would no doubt say she was proud of you. Parfait was always kinder to me than I deserved. That's not true, Diana. You deserved all that kindness and more. Wait a minute, I just remembered something. Did I... It changed. I changed the title and yes, I did. My eyes linger on Mother's grave. Well, it seems to read my thoughts from my silence. I think her mother would have been proud of you too, But Mother thought I was a traitor in the end. Sometimes in my nightmares, I can still hear her screaming. That same scream that echoed in the throne room when I betrayed her trust and shot her with electricity 2 years ago. The elder you knew was corrupted by the Tenebrarum. Lady Parfait said she was a kind person before the corruption. I'm sure there was still some of that person left in your mother when she died. Chasm always opens up inside of me when I realize I never truly knew that version of my mother. The mother I know was cold and manipulative. She raised my memories. She used the children to do her bidding. My eyes wander to Waltz. I'm sorry, Waltz. For what? For the way my mother must have treated you. I remember when the king told me Waltz found out belatedly that my mother killed his parents. She stole everything from him. I've told you before, Diane, none of that was your fault. Without you, I probably have become corrupted by the darkness of the Tenebram too. You were my guiding light back then, and you still are, little sir. He crosses his arms as he looks at the gravestones. There is a thoughtful, forlorn look in his eyes. Do you mind if we make a detour on our way back to the palace? A detour to the Martian? Paul shakes his head. No, it's here in the forest. He brushes past me and makes his way over to the rose bush. He plucks two of the flowers, then turns to me. It won't take long, I promise. I nod, more curious than anything else. Walt smiles. Thank you, Viviana. He snaps his fingers. A bright light encompasses the area and, moments later, a portal appears before us. Waltz and I walk into it hand in hand. My vision briefly goes white. When it clears, I see I am in a different part of the forest. This place is quieter, even further away from the hustle and bustle of town. I don't recognize it at all. This place is still the same. Where is this place? Waltz pulls me forwards into a clearing. It's empty, save for two big rocks lying incongruously on the cleared ground. His grip tightens on my hand. He suddenly looks tense. Waltz. This is where my home used to be. I glance around the area and notice scorches marks on the trees. Your home? You mean... This is where I used to live with my parents. Waltz's face is filled with melancholy. This is the first time I have come back to this place in years. This area of the forest is unnaturally quiet. It feels as if the trees themselves are mourning, like grief as their aggression is displaced in a permanent, stifling melancholy. I've asked Waltz many times about his childhood. Always, he tells me his memories of his past are easy. I never pushed him to recall anything on my behalf. I know what it is like to be weighed down by traumatic memories. But seeing the sadness on Walt's face now, I wonder how much he has been keeping from me, not because he doesn't remember, but because he does not want to remember. I'm sorry, Divyana. I'm afraid I haven't been entirely honest with you. I said before, I didn't remember a lot of my life before Ilder, but that was a lie. You do not need to apologize to me, Waltz. I know some memories are better left buried. That's how I felt too, that's still how I feel. I breathe out softly. I always told myself I would bring you here after we got married, so that I could introduce you to my parents. He shakes his head, but he let me accompany you when you visit your family, so I want you to meet mine. Waltz walks me over to the rocks, his parents' graves, I now realize. My parents told me they built the house all the way out here because they wanted to avoid humans. It was the safest place to be during the war. My parents were pacifists. To avoid detection, they rarely used their magic, which meant they barely taught me how to use my magic as I was growing up. Everyone says you were a child prodigy. Waltz nods. I study on my own when they weren't watching. He shuffles on his feet, looking suddenly abashed. I snuck out to town and participated in secret tournaments even. There were tournaments happening during the war? Waltz sighs. Most of them were harmless, as a means of which is to protest their magic without humans finding out. But some of those tournaments were not so harmless. I can only imagine some witches used those tournaments to own their skills for more nefarious purpose. Then I am certain there were knights who were training to do the same. Thank you for the care package. I only went to the tournaments to practice, but I ended up drawing the attention of some very dangerous witches. My mother. Waltz nods. Hilda was never part of the tournament herself, but she recruited her best witches there. I knew none of that. Was just a kid. Walt crosses his arms. He shudders, even though the air is stale and there is no breeze. My parents eventually found out about my excursions and forbade me from going out. I didn't know it at the time, but Hilda had approached them when I wasn't home. She said I had potential, that she wanted me as her apprentice. I look around the quiet clearing, start thinking. I feel I already know how this story ends, and it makes me feel hollow. I was stubborn, but then my parents died. Whilst he's looking at the gravestones, expression deadpan. I snuck out to practice in another tournament. When news spread of a house burning in the forest, Walt squeezes his eyes shut, his breathing itches. By the time I got back, everything was already burned down to ashes. Walt. Hilda approached me that same day. She told me the fire had been started by witch-hating humans. When I had nowhere else to go, she offered me a place to stay, a home. She applauded my strength. She made me feel valued. Walt speaks haltingly, as if it takes a great deal of effort to say the words aloud. I wrap her arm around his shoulders and let him lean into me. I know his pain. When I was a child, I felt the same pain. She introduced me to another one of the prejudice, Meet. Two of us, we blindly followed her every day, her every order, even when his voice trails, but I do not push. I lean my head against Walt's shoulders, he sags against me. I didn't know Hilda was the one who killed my parents until after she erased your memories. How did you find out? You were my light, Ivana. When I lost you, I felt like I had fallen into darkness. I was so desperate, I went to the king. I wanted to see if there was anything he could do to help you. Instead, he told me about my parents. The king may not have any power over his kingdom then, but he still had his spies. And for one of these spies, he overheard that story. That was when I finally broke, when I tried to make things right. Hilda took everything from me. My parents, you, everything. So I turned my back on her. I betrayed her. Silence settles over the forest again. I rub sweating circles onto Rock's back, as he often does with me. When he next speaks, his voice is soft, fragile. Hilda may have been the one who burned down the house, but I was the one who led her to them. If I just listened, if I hadn't participated in any of those tournaments, I'd probably still alive. I wrapped my arms around Walt's waist and rested my head against his chest. Walt, you were a child. But if I had just listened... You can't think that way. You are not the one who set fire to the house. That was Mother's doing. You always tell me not to apologize for the things my mother did. And now I am telling you not to blame yourself for her actions. There is no point in regretting a past we cannot change. All we can do is focus on creating a brighter future. And Walt, you have done so much for this kingdom. You always tell me my parents would be proud of me. I'm sure your parents would be proud of you too. I feel some of the tension seep out of Walt's body as it returns my embrace. Thank you, Diviana. Magic must never be used to harm others, only to protect them. That was what my parents used to say. I remember that when I met you. Remembered? You're right. There's no point in thinking about the past now. You are my life now, Divyana. And I brought you here to see my parents. Thank you for listening to me. I've carried this story with me for so many years. It's good to finally be able to share it. Walt steps away and leads me to the two big rocks. We each place a rose on them. Father, Mother. This is my fiancée, Queen Divyana Real Brighton of Angel. She's also the bearer of our Chrism Tenebrarum. Very soon, when we're both ready, we're going to be married. I smile down at the gravestones. I do not know what Walt's parents looked like, or even what they were like in demeanor. But the way Walt speaks of them, it is with regret. He misses them, and I can tell he loved them. I bow my head. It's nice to meet you both. I speak to them as I speak to my own parents. I'll tell them about how much I love Walt, and how much he has done for this kingdom. I'm the luckiest woman in the world to have him by my side. Walt is beaming beside me. Thank you, Divyana. And I'm the luckiest man in the world to be able to stand by your side. He gently squeezes my hand. It will be dark soon. Indeed. Maybe we should head back? Walt looks thoughtful. Actually, if you don't mind, I have something I want to show you. Something else? Walt laughs. I know I'm just dragging you all over the place, but this will be worth it, I promise. Walt and I walk through the forest until we reach a hill at the outskirts. Here we have a clear view of the night sky, and the scintillating stars strewn across its expanse. Walt, what are we doing here? Stargazing? When I just blink at him, Walt laughs and tugs me gently down to the ground. I sit beside him, shivering slightly as a cold breeze rustles my clothing. It's a chilly night, but this breeze is actually refreshing. When was the last time you saw a shooting star? I don't remember. I do. It was a long time ago, not long after I met you. Oh? I had just snuck out of your room and back to mine. He smiled softly. I've had such a fun time, so much fun. In fact, that when I saw a shooting star outside my window, I wished that fun would never end. I wished in that moment that I could keep having fun with you forever. Your wish came true. Walt laughs. It did. Your happiness was always my primary concern, but it means the world that I could be the one to share that happiness with. There is no one else I'd rather share it with. I gasp when something bright strikes against the sky, one of the shooting stars we had just talked about. I do not remember if I have ever seen a shooting star, but I know what comes next. Clasp my hands together, close my eyes, and make a wish. I wish to be the queen my kingdom needs, and to be a bearer worthy of the Tenebrarum. And I wish to make Walt just as happy as he has made me. Walt speaks in a whisper. Divyana, open your eyes. I open my eyes to see a sight so stunning it takes my breath away. The sky is filled with shooting stars. It's like magic. You have the Tenebrarum Baron. I'm sure you could perform this kind of magic if you wanted to. I do not ever think I could capture this kind of natural beauty. Walt looks at me, smiling gently. They're beautiful, but not as beautiful as you, little star. The words make my heart itch. Sometimes I think I do not deserve you, Waltz. That has never been truth. I am the unworthy one, Diana. I disagree. You have always been more than worthy, Waltz. Thank you, Waltz, for everything. I am so happy we are able to spend this much time together today. Me too. Waltz looks quiet, thoughtful, as he gazes up at the night sky. Someday, when everything is more stable, I hope we can spend even more time together, and that we can share that time with others. Others? Walt's eyes are sparkling just as brightly as the stars when he looks at me again. May I ask you a question? Of course. Someday in the future, when we're ready, how many children do you want? The question makes my shake burn. Children? Good thing I already reacted to this before. And good I already reacted to all of this before. I have no preference. No? Any child we have would be a blessing. Now it is Waltz who blushes. The rosiness of his cheeks makes me laugh. How many would you want? You're right, any child would be a blessing, but you want many children. Oh, did you know? Wait a minute. Okay, Ow? I know, I know we are witches and we have magic and everything, but giving birth looks like kind of painful. So, how? It's not hard to guess. You are always so good with animals. Children adore you. I only hope I would be as good as a mother as you are a father. There's no doubt in my mind the children love you too, you know? But my mother... You aren't your mother, Diana. You are full of love and light, little star. And you would be an amazing mother. Is there a reason you asked me this question in the first place? Well, we were talking about the future earlier. That is a far future. Walt laughs. Wherever and whenever this future is, I'm looking forward to it. I sigh, but I am smiling. Me too, Walt. I lean my head against his shoulder. He interlaces his fingers through mine and kisses my head. For a while, the two of us sit there watching the stars. We do not think about the crushing weight of the present, but instead turn our gaze toward our dream of a brighter future. Sorry, I had to check something. Is late as always. Laura paces the room, arms crossed. He always talks about practicing his magic, but what he really needs to practice is getting places on time. Waltz and I exchange a look. The two of us are sitting on the city, I don't know how to say that word, holding hands. There is a tinge of exasperation in Walt's smile. Typical Sina. Today I have come to the Martian to discuss the tenuous relationship between humans and witches with Sina, the newly dubbed Lucy's bearer. All of us were surprised when Sina suddenly showed up at the Martian a little less than 2 years ago, proclaiming to be Parfait's relative and the next bearer of the Lucy's. Turns out Parfait had prepared him long before she passed, though she made it clear she never wanted him to take over at so young an age. Many pharaohs have voiced their concern that he is too young and inexperienced to be the bearer. I myself have not spoken too often with Sina, but based on our meetings, I believe him to be more than capable. Still, even if he's the Lucy's bearer, he's still young and has much to learn about priorities. Where is that now? Laura snorts. He left this morning to go hunt for some special beetle. Beetle? Waltz laughs. Another one? He was telling me the other day he caught some rare ornate beetle. I hope he didn't praise him so much you inspired him to add to his collection. Waltz grins. It wasn't my praise that inspired him. Tina just dedicated to his hobby. Out of all hobbies to have, collections are especially fun when you're growing up. I've always enjoyed collecting dolls. Dolls make far a much better collection than very live insects. How dare you insult my insects? Sina walks in, lips downturned in his usual frown. We have awfully good hearing. Too bad your time management leaves much to be deferred. Sina's calls intensifies. Is that how you talk to the Lucy's bearer? Laura flashes a smile so intimidating, even Sina falters. It is when the Lucy's bearer is a recalcitrant child. Sina walks quietly over to the one of the chairs Laura set up and sits. He clears his throat. Sorry. The word is so low, mumble, barely audible. Try not to keep the queen waiting so long next time. Fine! Besides me, Walt looks like he's trying very hard not to laugh. He told me once that Laura makes a good stand-in mother for Sina. I cannot help but agree. I'm glad for their banter. With just the two of them living in the Martian now, this place has become extremely quiet. Though Walt comes here weekly to teach his students, the tavern is usually empty on account of it no longer being open to the public. It makes me sad sometimes, but then I think of how happy everyone is now, being able to live without being cursed. The Martian may be different, but I am glad that it is still here. It feels like a sanctuary even now. Sina sighs. Since you are all so eager to start, we should get to it. Sina looks at Box expectantly. You're the one compiling all the reports on the witch crimes, right? Can you provide a summary? Of course. What provides a brief summary of the reports we've received over the last few months. So far, there have been no major incidents involving corrupted witches, but there have still been crimes cropping up here and there. We've just recently added witch to our patrols. And has that led to any impactful changes? We've been more prepared to handle magic with magic. But being more prepared hasn't done anything to make a dent in the number of incidents. Tina raises an eyebrow. Are there any human hate crimes against witches? Question takes me back. Yes, but humans are tried in court just like any witch. These magic-induced crimes are higher up on our priority list because their result is more casualties. I frown. I'll never give humans special treatment over witches. Besides, the victims of all these crimes aren't just humans. There are witch and fairy casualties too. Tina crosses his arms. And how is the Tenebrarum? Overfull. Tina crosses one leg over the other, his ankle resting on his knee. Have you spoken to any of the perpetrators of these crimes yourself? We have witches and knights to handle interrogations. Sometimes Waltz and I step in. Tina scowls. And what about you, Queen Diviana? You're the Tenebra. You have a responsibility to reach out to those witches. Cinnamon. Don't call me that. Tina's words cut me right to my core. It is not that I have ignored those witches, just that there is a procedure for dealing with them. It is the same for any criminal. As a queen, I do not come into direct contact with any criminals unless they are being tried in court. It is not my job to interrogate them after all, but I believe Sin has a point. The palace procedures make it impossible for me to fully conduct my responsibilities as a Temporal Bearer, don't they? Tin and Laura both stop talking to look at me. As a queen, I'm meant to be unbased, but the procedures that keep me from taking sides are what keep me from speaking with the witches directly. It's true, Hildur communicated more directly with the witches, but that closeness emboldened corrupted witches and intimidated those of us who didn't agree with her. Yana shakes his head. That's a reflection on the bearer, not on the procedure. If you're a good bearer, Diviana, you'll speak to those witches directly to try to get to the root of the problem, if there is one. Where do you find the gall to speak like that, Cinnamon? Stop calling me that. Walt speaks up abruptly. Diviana, shouldn't you communicate with them directly? Diviana shouldn't have to communicate with them directly. The Order of Caldera exists to deal with those criminals. I think Sina has a point. But Diviana, I'm more than happy to interrogate the witches with Laura and deliver the reports myself. The comment for some reason makes me bristle. Waltz has been doing everything he can to help me with the witches, but Sin is right, my approach is clearly lacking. If I am to understand this problem, I must reach out to these witches directly. I must hear their testimonies firsthand before they are pressured into a confession and brought before me in the throne room. No, Sin is right. It is my responsibility as a bearer to listen to the witches, even the corrupted ones. They are criminals, yes, but I must still hear them. Diviana, I know you're going to tell me I'm overworking myself, Waltz, but I am the Tenebra bearer. I cannot just shirk my responsibility. I am baffled by Waltz's distress. Normally, it does not wear his emotions so openly. Normally, he is supportive of my decisions. So, why is he so adamant about this? The Tenebran bearer, Waltz, I'm in no danger. Besides, I'll have you by my side during the interrogations, yes? Of course. Cinna sighs. You're welcome. Cinnamon, your manners are truly atrocious. You called me here to have a serious discussion, so I came for a serious discussion. Fate may have danced around issues, but I will not. No, I suppose you have a very different way of doing things. Laura grumbles beneath her breath. What was that? I said, you're still very much a child. Before Cinna can say anything, I interject. A wise child, all the same. Thank you, Cinna. I appreciate your suggestion. It makes sense that Laura and Waltz would try to keep me from overworking myself. They know how much stress I'm under, after all. Cinna has no such reservations. He is so blunt, he would say anything on his mind, even if he didn't know of my full situation. That is what makes him a good confidant, I suppose. Cinna leans back in his chair. I'm happy I could help. Now, can I get back to my hunt? The words make me smile despite myself. He may have wisdom beyond his years, but in the end, he is still a child. Do not let us keep you here any longer. Or raise an eyebrow. It would serve you right if you got stung by something. I'm going beetle hunting, not bee hunting. Besides, I would never catch bees. They're important for pollination, you know? The two of them continue bickering. It did sound strangely, that puts my heart at ease. I turn to Waltz, who looks troubled. Waltz, you really do not have to worry about me. Waltz? He startles. Sorry, I was just thinking. I'm not worried about how you'll handle the witches, Ivana. Then why are you so concerned? It's nothing. It's most certain it is not. I cannot put my finger on the why of it. Something has seemed amiss with Waltz recently. Waltz's eyes dart to Sin and Laura. Let's talk later, okay? If you insist. Our conversation wrapped up, the two of us excuse ourselves from the tavern. Walt's moodiness is concerning. I decide to take a detour back to the palace and lead Waltz through the forest on the way back. As you're taking the more scenic way back to them, I would rather avoid the crowds right now. You seem tense in there. Will you talk to me now? I have some reservations about Cinna's approach. So I notice why. If interrogating these criminals is too time-consuming a task for me, or wields no result, then I will leave it to you and the other witches. I fail to see how this proposal is a problem. It is a problem because I know. You take on way too much work, Diviana. Nonsense, I'm just trying to find a balance. Let me balance things for you, please. Do you have so little faith in me, Waltz? No, that's not what I meant, Diviana. I appreciate everything you do for me, truly, but I'm the Tenebrand Bearer. It is my responsibility to oversee issues involving the witches. I poke him gently in the shoulder. I will be relying on you on your help, so... The motion draws the vaguest of smiles from Waltz. Of course. Besides, I'm still not convinced that this is the best suggestion, but I'll go along with whatever you think is best. I feel he's overreacting to all of this, but why? I notice something is amiss the moment we step into town. Normally the plaza is filled with chatter, music at this time of the day. Now it is eerily quiet. What's happening? I don't like the looks of this. Walt and I venture more cautiously into the square. There are a few people here and they're scuttling about, but someone calls my name before I can speak with any of them. Quintiviana! I turn to Siegfried rushing toward us, a woman on his heels. I recognize her as well. She is one of the witches who sends us reports. Wait, what's happened? There's been an incident in the marketplace. Oh no. A witch set fire to more than a dozen stalls. The witch points and I follow her gaze to the smoky tendrils curling through the stair, a short distance away. The fire has just been put out and the merchants and customers who inhale dangerous amounts of the smoke have been taken to a clinic. And the witch who started the fires is already been taken in by the commander. I must speak with Julian then. I'm going to do a scope of the area with my men to make sure there are no accomplices. I'll see if I can repair some of the damage done to the stalls. Thank you both for your hard work. My heart is pounding in my chest as I incline my head. We should get back to the palace. Right. A few of the wandering knights around the plaza accompany us back to the palace for extra protection. Shuri and Garland are waiting at the gates when I arrive. Your Majesty, there's been an incident. I let Shuri repeat what Fritz has said as we walk together through the halls. She tells me the witch we had to the patrol helped the knights capture the arsonist. And where is the arsonist now? In the dungeon. We've tried to interrogate him, but I have had no luck so far. It is an opportunity for me to get back to the root of this problem. Lead me to him. I'll go with you. The four of us make our way down to the underground dungeons. We make our way to the designed prison cell. As of yet, there are not many cells that can hold witches. Waltz and Laura personally enchanted some of them to suffocate any form of magic, but we have only been able to charm a few areas. Thankfully, the lack of cells is not a problem. Hopefully it stays that way. Green Garland stopped in front of one of the cells. Here we are, Your Majesty. I squint between the wall of bars into the darkness. I see a man huddled in the corner, his back to us. Whoops. Waltz moves to stand in front of me. Posture stiff. Viviana, I can. Let me handle this, Waltz. I peer into the bars. Your queen stands before you. Will you not acknowledge me? You are not my queen. The man glances over his shoulder. The only queen I acknowledged was Queen Hildur. You are nothing but a usurper. You show Queen Diviana respect or... It's alright, Jorian. I turn back to the witch, who seemed to have his full attention now. Would you tell me why you did what you did? What is you hoped to achieve? Will you not speak a word in your defense? The witch says nothing, just glares daggers at hers. You don't say anything. The witch laughs suddenly, a hollow, cold sound. I was wondering when you'd speak up, Walt Cresswell. You used to be so loud. When was it that you were tamed? Walt narrows his eyes. Shouting nonsense isn't going to get you anywhere. Give us answers, or you'll doom yourself to a life in this cell. The witch smirks. And what will you do to get those answers from me? Torture me with magic? Waltz kneels sharply. He says nothing as he glares back at the witch. For a few moments, the two just look at each other. And then the witch smiles. Dismiss your knights and Cresswell. Then, and only then, will I speak with you, false queen. A shudder climbs my spine as the witch looks directly at me. Is a criminal, a witch, but I'm the Tenebron bearer. You are in no position to make such demands. No, it's alright, Julian. Viviana? I'll be fine. Please, wait for me by the entrance. I'm not going to leave you alone in here with a criminal. I'm not asking, Walt. Looks at me stunned, but I cannot show weakness in front of this criminal. I cannot date her. We'll wait for you, Your Majesty. But if we hear even the slightest disturbance, we'll be back. Thank you both. Walt is the last to leave. He looks at me uncertainly, almost pleadingly. But when I do not budge, he eventually turns on his heels and leaves. The witch turns to me after their footsteps have faded to silence. Are you sure you want to keep Cresswell around? He betrayed the previous bearer, you know? And all for the sake of a single girl. That single girl was me. The witch laughs. And? That means nothing. Loyalty and love are not mutually exclusive. Yet to the point, you said you would speak to me. He smiles at me coldly. I did, but I would much rather speak of the past and the present. That was not our agreement. The witch speaks as if he hasn't heard me. How much do you know about a man who follows you like a shadow? About Waltz Cresswell? We are not here to speak about Waltz. But don't you want to know what he did for your mother? Why we call him one of the most powerful witches of his time? He must take my silence as for curiosity because he pushes on. The man who walks these walls with you was a murderer. You is a murderer. One of the biggest criminals of them all. And you let him walk free. My heart hammers in my chest. How dare you spot such lies? It's no lie. Ask any witch and they'll tell you. Waltz Cresswell was Hilder's right hand. He dealt with traitors by getting rid of them entirely. The witch you speak so highly of has more blood in his hands than anyone. Why have you not punished him? I know Waltz worked for Mother, but he never did tell me what he what it was he did for her, and I apologize. I didn't mean to compare you to a child. No, it's not, isn't that? Viviana, it's more the innocent part. I'm not innocent at all, you know? I respectfully disagree. I'll never change my opinion on you, Waltz. He always balks when I call him good or innocent. The witch snorts. Hero who ended a great war? Hardly. Waltz Cresswell is a worse criminal than me. You have no right to judge him. I carefully tuck my concerns away. I will not show this witch how much his words have rattled me. Whether or not you speak the truth is irrelevant. You have no right to accuse another citizen of my kingdom of such a crime. The witch seems disgruntled. Perhaps he was expecting more of an outburst from me. You're a hypocritical ruler then, judging some witch's but not others. I am concerned with the crimes happening under my reign. If you will not tell me about the arson attack, we are done here. The witch turns away. This business is for Waltz and I alone to discuss. How dare he think to get the rise out of me? Fine. I've given you an opportunity to speak with me. The next time I see you, it will be in the throne room, surrounded by witnesses. I hope you have prepared to be judged then. I stifle a sigh of relief as I turn on my heels and walk away. Prince and Garland are waiting for me by the entrance. Are you right, Your Majesty? Garland looks me over. Were you able to get anything out of him? Unfortunately, no. The next exchange a look. Do you want us to try again before he's brought to confess? I am doubtfully he will say anything helpful. It is hard to concentrate when I am still thinking about our conversation about Waltz. I glance up, noticing Waltz is not there. Where is Waltz? He said he was going to wait for you in your room. It is unlike Waltz to leave me alone. Would you like us to escort you back, Your Majesty? I shake my head. There is no need. But please, send my report of the damage and casualties. Send by a report when it is available. Has there been any word about the state of the marketplace? We received the report while we were waiting for you. Many stalls and goods were lost in the fire. Then we must think of a way to compensate the merchants for their loss. Callan coughs. If you don't mind a piece of advice, Your Majesty, what is it? We won't have a full report until tomorrow. We'd recommend you rest for the night, and we can discuss losses and compensations tomorrow. I nod. I think that would be best. I will notify the advisors of my progress here, then return to my room for the night. I am eager to speak with Waltz about all of this. Then let us escort you as far as the throne room, at least. We're on our way there anyway. Thank you both. I spend the next hour doing what I can do to ensure support is sent into town. After receiving multiple reports that things are stable and no other accomplices have been found, I return to my room. Just as Julian Garland said, Walt is waiting for me. He sits by the window, holding a familiar doll in his hands. I recognize it as a doll he bought me 2 years ago. He looks at me when I enter. Hello, little sir. His smile is strained and undeniably sad. It breaks my heart. Hello, Walt. I glance at the doll. Feeling nostalgic? I was just thinking about how much you've always loved their dolls. He runs a finger over the doll's fragile porcelain cheek. I always felt oddly comforted when I looked at your dolls as a kid. Your room felt like a sanctuary to me back then. It still does. I moved to sit next to Waltz. It is not just my room anymore, you know? It is our room. Right. Waltz sets the doll down on the table with a sigh. So, how did the interrogation go? He says the word slowly, tentatively. I was not able to extract a reason from him, but he nonetheless had a lot to say about something else. Walt just looks at me quietly, expectantly. He had a lot to say about you. Walt's expression shudders. Me? Walt, do you trust me? What kind of question is that? Of course I do. So, you would tell me the truth about anything. I knew this was only a matter of time until this came up in one of the interrogations. This witch, he called you a murderer, Walt. Did you really have to do that for Mother? Sitting with his shoulders slouched, his gaze trained downward. What looks like a mere shadow of himself. The sight breaks my heart. I did. Waltz. I'm sorry, little star. I did a lot of terrible things in my past. Things I can't take back. Things I would do anything to take back. Waltz looks away. I know it seems like I've been keeping things from you, but I don't do it to keep secrets from you. I've never wanted to speak about the past. My whole life, I've been trying to make up for the wrongs I committed. My parents' deaths, the humans I had to hurt for Hildur. I don't think there's anything I could ever do to make up for it. I slid closer to him and placed my hand over his. The reason you were so adamant about me not accompanying you to these interrogations was because you feared a corrupted witch would say something in my presence, wasn't it? I mean what I said about me not wanting you to overwork yourself. But yes, that was a part of it too. Well, how long has this guilt been gnawing at you? My whole life. It wasn't so bad when I lived with that Martian. There I could sometimes forget about everything that happened. But here in this palace, interrogating the witches, it comes back. He looks up at me, gaze somber. Sorry. For what? Well, I have told you 100 times that my mother is the one who forced you to do those things. That doesn't change the fact that people have been hurt because of me, that they've lost loved ones because of me. King Gennaro ought to have punished me for what I did. I can still remember what Father said to Waltz when he saw us together in my room all those years ago. No, Waltz, my father was grateful to you. It was because of you my mother could be defeated in the first place. As for the guilt you feel, I shook my head. I know what it is like. I feel crushed by grief. I still remember the guilt that crushed down on me when I found out I was a Tenebrae bearer. I remember the helplessness I felt when my father died before my eyes. No one can absolve you of that guilt except for you, Waltz. Viviana, it is true, you cannot make up for the wrongs of the past. A right doesn't resolve a wrong. But Waltz, you saved this kingdom twice. You were under no other than. No life can ever be weighed against any other. But you have saved so many people, Waltz. I lace my fingers through it and gently squeeze his hand. You saved me. Waltz hold on my hand, tightens. It feels almost desperate, as if he's clinging to me. You saved me, Diviana. You put a smile on my face when I felt like the world was crashing down on me. Around you, I could be at peace, I could be myself. He shakes his head. I know it's no excuse, but that's why all this time I didn't want to divulge anything about my past. I always talk about facing the present together, about not lingering in the past. And yet the moment I start to remember everything, I lose myself. I can no longer think about the present or the future. All I can think about is how much I feel like I don't deserve any of this happiness. Don't have to remember, it's too hard for you, Waltz. I raise his hands to my lips and kiss his knuckles. But please, I do not want you to feel like you need to hide things from me because you are scared of how I will react. Waltz swallows. For a few moments, does not speak, just sits there holding my hand tightly, and then he speaks, his voice feather soft. How did I get so lucky to have you in my life, little star? It is cruel, but it brought us together, and for that, I am forever grateful. You already know I was your mother's right hand, mate was her left. The two of us did everything she ordered. We dealt with rebels and helped others stop uprisings. Much of it led to bloodshed. I did all of that while still sneaking into your room at night. I was a criminal, but around you I felt like maybe I could be a hero. I remember when you first taught me how to sew. Your puppet put such a smile on my face, and when I used it to perform magic for you and you would clap for me, well, smile softly. You inspired me. I did everything I could to make things right, even when I lost you, even when you no longer remembered me. I carried your light with me. Performed for the children in town. I'd made magic tricks and hosted puppet shows for them. I felt like maybe I could finally do something good. But whenever you call me good, besides, it felt like I still feel like I'm not worth of being called that. I shake my head. Do you know what I learned 2 years ago, Walt? I learned that the line between good and bad is thin and murky. Orfeo once told me that there was no balance without darkness, just as the Tenebra and Lucis are two halves of one whole. We all too are made of darkness and light. But we are all capable of incredible good. You taught me that. When I say you are good, I acknowledge even your faults, Waltz. I love you, Waltz, exactly as you are. Waltz leans over to plant a kiss on my cheek. I stiff slightly so that I can catch his lips with my own instead. Waltz's eyes are sparkling when he pulls away. I love you too, Diviana. Thank you for accepting me just as I am. Always, Waltz. Please never feel like you must keep me in the dark, understood? Waltz smiles softly, still with uncertainty in his eyes. Crystal clear, little star. The words are still so fragile. I stand abruptly. Before Waltz can move, I reach over and pull him to my chest. When next you feel like this, please come to me. You have seen me at my lowest, and time again you have been there for me. I want to be there for you always. Run my hand gently through his hair. You promised you would always be by my side. I echo your promise long ago. Please depend on me. But he nails shakily. For a few moments there is quiet, stillness, and then his arms circle my waist. He leans into me and whispers softly. Thank you, Diviana. I feel away from him, just far enough to look him in the eyes. Feel better? I do. He laughs a little sheepishly. I'm sorry you had to interrogate me in the end. I nudge him gently in the shoulder. You're excused at this time, but only if you agree to be honest with me in the future. Yes, ma'am. You have to promise me. Waltz flexes his fingers. He closes his palm, then opens it before me. A lily pushes up between his fingers. He hands it to me. I promise, Viviana. I take the flower from him and twirl it in between my fingers. Why the lily? Juliet told me once that they stand for devotion, and a promise isn't a promise without devotion. When I leaned forward to kiss his cheek, Waltz playfully pulls away. I tumble onto his lap with a laugh, and he pulls me close, tilting my face up so that he can plant a kiss on my lips. Afterward, I reached out to cup his cheek. I promised to Waltz. In my periphery vision, I see something glimmery across the sky. I do not know if it is a shooting star, but still I make another wish. Wish for Walt's happiness. I hope he can learn to let me carry his burdens just as he carries mine. Rapidly in starlight, Waltz and I share another kiss. Okay. And that's it for today. Save my paper, put it here. Let's save. Let's get back to the main menu. Okay. No, OBS, no. Why did this to do? Why did you do this to me today? No, don't show my Steam. But yeah, let's see who is streaming right now. Kiefer, the fish is streaming. I haven't tried Kiefer in a while. And for 1 hour and a half, dang it. Maybe I should go for Mera now. Yeah, let's go for Mera. She just started. Perfect. We'll go for Mera. So the red master will be carried. Wait. Here is the red message for who is up. For who isn't sub, the red message will be this one. And I'm sending everyone to Mera. So yeah. Thank you so much to everyone who joined me today. I really appreciate it. In 2 weeks we'll end the game. We'll get world's best ending. And now I need to start thinking about what we are going to play next as our visual novel. So yeah. Thank you so much for everyone who joined me today. I really appreciate it. And see you all next week. Bye bye.